I've seen some really interesting comments regarding the power level update. And most of the comments go something like this, right? 3 million power level is way too much for me to grind for all of these bonuses here. 3 million power level, are you kidding me? That is way too high. And let me say this right now, 3 million is definitely a very high power level to obtain. And this comment isn't something that's super popular. It's not like everyone on Twitter is saying that. I'm seeing a little bit of, these comments and how this update is just incentivizing, no-lifing the game. And I don't understand that take at all. The first reason why I don't understand that take is if you look at all of these buffs here, look at this, right? At 500,000 power, did my voice just crack there? At 500,000 power level, you are receiving all of the buffs. Granted, not at the same potency as you are getting at 3 million, but you're still receiving the buffs. You are like, if you currently, let's say you have 600,000 power level in the game, the moment you load up the game with this new update, you are going to be feeling the difference, which of course is amazing. So to say 3 million is too high, which again is not wrong, but you don't have to get to 3 million to feel the buffs, because at 500,000, this is what your game is going to look like. You're going to have minus cost for these items, minus recovery time for boost and stamina, and then just a bunch of other great drop rates and whatever the case is that you are seeing here, right, for 500,000. So to say that you need to hit 3 million to feel anything is just wrong. And if I click the difference between here, this is 2.5 million power level bonus compared to 3. The only difference that you see is recovery time, right? And then from 2.5 to 2, the only difference you see is recovery time. So when you hit 2 million, let me see something here. Yeah, the only difference you see here is, again, recovery time, and then an extra 10% to Zenny Shop item cost, or reduction, right? But that's it. At 1.5, Zenny, training item drop rate, support item drop rate, hidden potential orb drop rate, story character drop rate, awakening metal drop rate, treasure drop rate, Baba Shop item cost, like all of this from 1.5 to 3 is the same. It is literally the same. So you do not, and look at this, all of the extra attempt stages are also the same. So you're not missing out on anything, really. It's just slight buffs here that you're, they're going to add up over time for sure, but it's not going to mean much, right? So again, this narrative of 3 million, oh my god, it's like, stop focusing on that. It's actually, half of that gives you, half of 3 million gives you 95% of what you see right here. Probably a little bit higher than, maybe like 98%. So you don't really have to get to 3 million at all. On top of that, this is simply just rewarding players for grinding the game, right? This is one of those systems that really just incentivize more. And I will say, they could have done a way better job of structuring these level bonuses here. But at the end of the day, again, it's just simply rewarding players for playing the game. And that is what we want from, like, Dokkan, remember the profile update? You know how you have like the 12 different pixel levels, and now they recently added monthly rewards, right, for those pixel levels. That's an amazing thing. Reward for playing the game. Now, these are permanent rewards that are going to affect your account based on your power level. And I'm not saying there's absolutely no issues with this overall system. Like, we can sit here and argue that they have to increase or add another way, right, to increase power level that actually matters, because power level is strictly, not strictly, but it is definitely driven by link leveling. If they add another way to boost power level, like that kind of rivals link leveling, but not really too much, but rivals it, then it's going to be a lot easier to definitely get up there, right? To get to these higher levels. So link leveling, not everyone has the time to sit there and just grind links all day, every day. Not everyone has the benefit, the fortunate time to do that. So that's completely understandable, which is why I love that these bonuses are all available, almost all available at 500,000. So again, we can talk about how Dokkan can definitely do better with that. But to bash or to talk bad about a game rewarding players for playing the game just doesn't make sense. To what game doesn't do that? Like it just doesn't really, the narrative just doesn't make sense to me. I get that 3 million is really high, but focusing on 3 million when you get the same thing at half of that, besides one little thing here, it's just it doesn't make, look at this. Everything from treasure to Zenny at 1 million is the same. Zenny to treasure, yeah, is all the same. The only thing that changes is the last 4 bullet points, which, to be honest, we all know is not really that. The fact that we're getting any recovery time reduction is absolutely amazing. So like, this is just a W. Even if you're at 500k, this right here, this minus 10 seconds, minus 3 minutes here is a W, right? So you're feeling benefit regardless. But at 1 million, you essentially have 95% of what you have at 3 million. So like, stop focusing on that. It's not a big deal. This is definitely a W change for the game. I don't like the narrative that it's a bad change or a bad update that's going to require you have to know life the game to get bonuses. That's not it whatsoever. And I feel like, again, looking down on, I don't want to say looking down, that's a little too harsh. It's just saying that this is a bad change because Dokkan rewarding players for playing the game, I just don't think is a good take at all. Now again, they could have done a better job at structuring this, right? Because I could see the issue with 2.5 to 3, while there is barely any change, and why that could be a good thing is also why that could also be like a bad thing. Because what is the incentive for me as a player, right? This is just me playing devil's advocate, right? Which I think is a fair thing to do when you're trying to judge how good or bad something is. What is the incentive for me to go from 2.5 to 3? Oh my god, an extra 10 seconds? Like, no, you're spending days, weeks, months going from 2.5 to 3 for 10 seconds. I don't really like how they structured it. I personally would have much rather them give you buffs for, like, let's say every 200,000 power level you achieved, you earned a new drop rate buff. So let's say at 200,000 power level, you received Zenny acquired plus 100%, training item drop rate, and support item drop rate plus 50%. So that's what you had at 200,000. And let's say you were given 1 extra attempt on the Dokkan punching machine. That's all you got for 200,000. Then at 400,000, you were given hidden potential orb drop rate plus 10%, and the God of Destruction event for an extra attempt stage. That's what you get at 400,000. Then at 600,000, you add another line here, and then another event here. And then, so essentially every single time you hit a new increment of 200,000, you are seeing a new completely drop rate buff for a different aspect of the game. You're getting a new event. Because look at this. You go from 3 events with 1 extra attempt at 500,000 to essentially all of them, right, to 1 million, which of course, again, I understand that at 1 million, in my opinion, you should really receive everything at 1 million. But again, having it at 2, every increment of 2, or maybe even every increment of 100,000, you can do that. It just makes it so that you are seeing a visual change and there's something new to work for. Like, I could imagine, let's say you got every new line of buff here at 100,000 power level increment. So let's say 100,000 you got Zenny, 200,000 you were given training item drop rate, 300,000 you were given support. I could see myself being at 300,000, like, yo, I really want to get, the hidden potential orb drop rate, so I need to go for 400k now. Oh, I got a story mode LR drop, I need to go for the next 500,000. Oh my god, Awakening Metals is so annoying to grind, I need to go for that. Like, I can see that, right? It makes you really want to grind for the next thing. And it's just, I think it could have been way better like that. And granted, it's not like you have to hit 500,000 to get these buffs. I believe every single level that you achieve in Dokkan, you are getting slight buffs. I'm not sure about the exact breakdown, but when you're at 100,000 power level, you do have some buffs. Again, I just don't know what those buffs look like. These buffs were just shown at increments of 500,000. And it doesn't mean you have to be at 500 just to get all of this. It's just, this is what it looks like, a snapshot of what your account buffs look like when you're at 500,000. So let me know what you think. This is definitely a W change. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Rewarding players for playing the game is a massive W, and the fact that you get most of these buffs early on, which again I am a fan of, is something where we should be celebrating and not mad that they, like, if this, I'm very happy that they didn't gatekeep all of this at 3 million, and then everything else for previous was only like maybe 3 lines. And when I say lines, I'm saying only 3 bullet point buffs, right? I'm just happy that you were able to receive most of it at a lower power level than 3 million. So let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Feel free to subscribe, and peace.